As I sit here today on the eve of Zohran Mamdani's victory, to see how it turned out, it's bittersweet. Yes, I understand that he is anti-American. His policies are bad for business, and in America is business first. However, to watch the Zionists get their asses handed to them, literally, in a way as a breath of fresh air, especially after what we've seen them do publicly to Charlie Kirk. Now, I'm not here to debate that with you. We've already came up with our conclusions. It is what it is. We're not asking questions anymore. If it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's a duck. In the United States, motive alone is enough to get a conviction. I don't need anybody to verify anything for me. It is what it is. So, people keep calling me and talking about, because half my family's Muslim. I grew up going to a mosque. I also grew up Christian, but this is America where we've passed that. Somebody could worship a literal imaginary sea creature at the bottom of the ocean for all we care, as long as you don't affect our money. We need to do business as usual. Mamdani literally wants to throw a monkey wrench in the machine, destroy the engine, and we just gonna walk. He's not gonna build a new engine. He's not gonna come up with nothing new to help us get further. He's just gonna destroy the current engine, and now we're just on foot. Now, for poor people that are already on foot, who don't want to work, who have no aspirations, no ambition, that's music to their ears, because they've always been made to feel insecure by looking at people who had drive and ambition. Someone who's a bum or a loser, they're definitely going to hate you. They don't like even looking at you. They don't want you to be around, and they blame any of their problems on you, nothing on themselves, which, okay, that's fine. But now we've actually emboldened this person, gave him power. Right now, I'm looking at the New York Jewish organizations, and they're talking about how they're going to hold him fully accountable. Newsflash to the Jewish organizations: even if you aren't Zionist, even if you're Orthodox, no one's going to tell the difference. No one's going to know. See, when they say that Zohra Mamdani is anti-white, he's anti-Jewish. He's anti-Zionist. So now people are going to be a little bit more specific. We're at day one, and already this morning the swastikas are going up. What that means is that the enforcement, the mechanism of law and order that once protected you, he's going to gut it. He's gutting law enforcement. You thought defund the police was bad in 2020 in California. That's not good. They will have nothing on what's coming in New York City. My advice to you, if you're Zionist aligned, if you're Orthodox, if you're from that background, is to run. Now, you can stay there and don't listen to Rico, and you can get your head knocked off every single day, because they will. These are poor people who don't have to worry about police. And if they're arrested, they are going to get a no cash bail and immediately release. And they're going to come back to your neighborhoods, and they're going to go back upside your head. And there ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it, because you voted against having the self-defense laws and guns years ago. You fell into a trap. You fell on your own sword. These people are coming. This is a communist revolution. See, people don't say, "Oh, I don't like Mamdani because he's a Muslim." Nobody gives a shit about that. We don't like him because he's a communist. The communists are bad for business. See, this is New York. It's not an island in the Caribbean like my home country. This is a city that's a part of a state that's a part of 50 states under a Fed. What happens here reverberates throughout the country. It vibrates. We feel it. It affects us all. And one city falls like this, others will be inspired, and it will be a chain reaction. That's what we don't like. It's not about his racial background, but it's open season now on the Zionists. And in a way, it's kind of It was inevitable. You think people enjoy the refreshing words of Nicholas Fuentes for no reason? You don't think we're sick and tired of how Ben Shapiro and Josh Hammer have the same fucking voice, but yet they didn't grow up together, but they have the exact same voice? There's obviously some kind of coordination going on against the rest of us. See, in this scenario that is playing out, there's three parts, there's three groups. There's the globalists that are basically bringing in the third world from the Middle East, from Africa. They flooded Europe. Now they're going to flood the United States. They already have. They have Ilhan Omar in Minnesota. They have certain, I wouldn't say Brandon Johnson in Chicago, but he's definitely leaning towards communist, but he wasn't imported here from the third world like Omar. But now you have Mamdani, who's actually from Africa, but he's of Indian descent. And now he's the mayor at 34 years old. He just became a citizen, 2018? Just moved here. And now he's your mayor. What this means is that the globalists who are controlling the third world migration around the world, who are fighting with the Zionists, they now set up a beachhead in enemy territory. But see, one thing they have that the Zionists don't is they have a taste for blood and they have no problem getting their hands dirty. See, the Zionists send other people to do their dirty work. And with the exception of Mossad, the IDF is still pretty much weak. You see a lot of them doing TikTok dances and shit. Their strength is in the air superiority, bombing innocent people. But as far as fist fighting in the streets, they don't have that. They don't have that in them. It's not in them. The globalists that are bringing these disenfranchised people from the third world into New York and into these cities, oh, they got it. And they got it out for them. Us Americans are just going to kind of be on the sidelines watching. This battle is between the Zionists and the globalists. The Jews and the Muslims, us Americans are on the sideline because we don't even really realize what's happening. We're still playing by the old rules. Let me read this article to you, but first let me hear what Mamdani's acceptance speech.
Remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands. Fingers bruised from lifting boxes on the warehouse floor, palms calloused from delivery bike handlebars, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power. And yet, over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater. Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it. The future is in our hands.
A future of what? A race to the bottom to get people to their lowest point and force everyone to be there equally at the same location. No one's going to have more than the next because if you do, they are going to knock your head off. You're going to have to pull your pennies together. You're going to have to move to Jersey or Connecticut or Delaware. But unless you're a communist with no ambition, with no desire to work, and you want to just be a drone for the state that is completely subsidized and taken care of by the state, pretty much a prisoner, pretty much a slave. When you go to prison, the warden is the state. He gives you a place to live. They give you food to eat, and they don't charge you rent. If that is your desired lifestyle, which I've been talking about on this channel for months and now, for years, that there's a lot of people that want to live like that, New York is the destination to go. People are telling me about how many people are going to leave New York. I'm telling people about how many people are going to be going there. I know people that are already considering going to New York because that communist utopia, it's like right there. They almost have it. You know, everybody will tell you that these other countries, Mao's China, the Soviet Union, etc. They just didn't do communism right. They didn't do socialism right. But we're going to do it right here. And they are going to try. And they are never going to admit when they failed. They are going to entrench their beliefs in New York as the city degrades. It's a race to the bottom. Everyone will be equally poor, but you won't have to work. You won't have to pay bills. You won't have to worry about water or utilities. You won't have to worry about food, and you won't have to worry about, getting fired or being responsible, or you won't have to worry about being a parent. The state's going to take care of you. Free daycare, free this, free that. If you believe in that, and that's what you want, and you want someone else to take care of you. If you're a woman, it makes sense. If you're children, it makes sense. If you're a man, you're gay. Because a man with his hand out is a man with his tongue out. And yeah, if you want some free stuff, put something on that tongue. That's how it works with the state. They're going to put something on your tongue. Nothing is free at all. Looking for free stuff is where you are going to meet your downfall. So yeah, Mamdani is promising this, and these Jewish organizations are not too happy. Let me let him finish just another minute of this of his speech.
My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty. I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life. But let tonight be the final time I utter his name.
I mean, fuck Cuomo. Remember all those seniors? Remember Donald Trump sent the USS, was it the Liberty, into New York Harbor, and they set up 15,000 beds. 15,000 were set up on an aircraft carrier, and they were supposed to take senior citizens and patients who were sick, and they were supposed to treat them. Cuomo refused because they wanted the numbers to go up so that people would be so scared that they volunteered to take a mandated experimental injection that is magically wiping out Democrats left and right. So the mass migration, you're not going to really see a numbers change because they can probably bring in as many people as they poisoned. If you didn't believe in the great replacement theory, well, you should now. It's already started. I'm a witness of it. I can confirm it. I can actually, if you go to Right Wing Rico, go to Safe and Effective Podcast on Instagram. I keep score of all the death every day. And I put up, because they mention it in articles, but if you really want to keep score, you gotta follow people on Facebook and all the people that are dying. Whole families, 8-9 people in a month from one family. Lots of black families. And I'll be honest, that 13% of the black population they speak of is probably already at 9 or 10% right now. You just don't know because no one's keeping score and no one's sounding the alarm. See, the goal is to replace certain Americans that are going to have a sense of entitlement to freedom. They feel like they want to fight for this land. If New York was full of New Yorkers, Cuomo would have won. It's just that only 38% of the people in New York City are actually Americans from the city, from New York or from the United States. The other majority, all immigrants. So whatever you immigrated to the United States to find, you're not going to find it. Whatever you left has already found you. So, in my opinion, that defeats the purpose. But go off. I don't have to live in New York, so I don't really have a dog in the fight. I just know that this bottom line. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm selling 2 properties in Texas right now. I'm hoping to get some of these offers. These evacuees. I got a property in Austin. I got one in Houston. I got a phone call today. Probably going to get an offer tonight. But I want to go back there. So I'm like, man, maybe I don't want to sell. But people are going to have to get out of New York because this is going to be a race to the bottom. The problem is it's not going to be what a regular American like myself thinks it's going to be. There are a lot of people who want to be slaves. Remember, I had that proposal a few weeks ago when I was on this live when I did that interview, where I proposed we open up plantations again. It's really just it's like buildings that are fenced in, where people who don't want to work can live. They'll be fed, but there will be small requirements of labor that they will have to perform, factory work, simpleton work, but they won't have any responsibilities. Yes, it's fenced in, so it's like a prison, but you're not there to be punished. You're there because you don't want to do anything else. And we don't just want you living on the streets. It's not like that's sanitary or an acceptable option. But imagine if an entire major American city can be transformed into a plantation and it'll attract illegals from all over the country, lazy people from all over the country, criminals from think about all the crime you can get away with in New York now. Defunded, demoralized police. They only do what he tells you to do. And he knows, the rules. You better not touch anybody who's black or brown, or you can only arrest somebody who's white. You can only arrest someone who's Jewish. You better not touch anybody else because they're going to say you're discriminating against them. They're marginalized. You're a racist cop. You're going to get fired. You're going to get prosecuted. You know the rules. I'm watching the videos in New York. I'm seeing what's happening. Everybody's going to want to be there and be poor. Everybody. Maybe that's going to be the cure to homelessness, the homelessness problem we have around the country. Yeah, there's going to be a few holdouts. They like where they live. They like living in Seattle. They like living in LA. But when you find out homelessness is going to be promoted and you're going to be welcomed, and you're going to be well taken care of, and all you got to do is keep voting Democrat in that city and keep him in power, New York's going to be everyone's new destination. So if we're going to have an open air plantation, so be it. It will be New York. Good for us. Now we have somewhere to send people, and we're not just putting people on buses and sending them to downtown LA. And that's how we're solving the homeless problem in our different municipalities around the country. A race to the very bottom. Like I said, the crime you'll be able to get away with over there, it's literally going to be the movie Escape from New York. I say that not as being prophetic, but just saying when you don't have police and you have a bunch of people who are poor, who are literally targeting people who have a little bit more money than them, but this is a communist takeover. Why do you think everybody in Miami's white Cuban, but everyone in Cuba is black? See, they got to get rid of the people. They're going to tell you that the cure to racism is communism. So the fair-skinned people who want to work, you got to get rid of them. If you don't leave New York, they are going to go upside your head every single day. Get used to it. No one's coming. Calling somebody an anti-Semite, it's just going to tickle them before they punch you in your face. Calling somebody a anti-this or pro that, they're just going to laugh as they insert foot inside of said keister. All the whole using words as weapons and insults. How do you get a person fired who lives in New York and it doesn't work? They've never had a job. They've lived off the state and they live off of benefits their entire life. You can't cancel them. There's nothing to cancel. You can't fire them. They don't work anywhere. There's nothing and what police you're going to tell against them? How's that investigation going to turn out? Oh, like the investigations in Los Angeles for all the murders happening, like the LAPD ones, they've defunded the police. The police told you don't even come to California. It's the purge out here, except the purge is only 24 hours. But in California, this is going to be for the foreseeable future. We can't protect you. Don't come here. A lot of these police departments, the investigation divisions that would go out and try to solve these, they've already been cut out. There's no one there to do the crimes. They can't even check the rape kits anymore. And you think you're going to be able to call the police for help in New York You can't even call them in LA. And we haven't even had a full communist takeover yet. And you think you're going to be able to call the police after this? Who's even still going to want to be a police officer after this? They're going to replace them with social workers. So after you call them an anti-Semite and they kick your ass, and the social worker shows up, the social worker's ass is going to get kicked too. Then where do you go? None of this is super hard to figure out where this is going to go, but I hope it goes there. Because I'll be honest, have the Zionists done us that good? The Zionists have been in charge of the United States and of these cities. We've been to their will. We've attacked Iran. We invaded Iraq. We attacked Syria. We attacked Libya. The Zionists have us doing everything. But what good has that done for the American people? What good has it done for an American like myself? What are the benefits that Zionists have done for me? So why should I care that they're being replaced by the globalist Muslims? So we're exchanging one set of people who treat us like shit, who don't appreciate Americans and don't like us, with just a new group. This is the enemy we don't know, and we're replacing it for the enemy that we also don't know. We know the Zionists, we know them, but we don't know what the globalist plans for. Now, I know what they've told us, which is transhumanism, lockdowns and all this. Yeah, the globalists have plans for us by 2030. And I used to always say, I don't understand how the Zionist plans fit in with this. I know they work together to push the vaccine, but I always kept asking, so what happens if this succeeds? Because there can only be one leader at the top. Did you guys really go through all this trouble just to be number two? So who's going to be number one? And they're answering the question right now. As of right now, the globalists are going to win. The globalists will defeat the Zionists. I knew the Zionists were in trouble when they felt they needed to do that to Charlie Kirk. That's when I knew that they were in fucking trouble. There was trouble in paradise, because to do something so extreme and expose yourself, something so risky, it just doesn't make any sense. But this is a war, and they thought they had to do that so that they can keep fighting in the war. Because now he was going to turn his audience against them, because he had already had an aha moment, saw the truth, and turned on them already. So I can't feel sorry for these Zionists and Jewish groups in New York. I can't feel sorry for them. It's not in me, because the truth came out. And then I'm watching Ben Shapiro and Hammer, and they're talking about Fuentes. Fuentes, that's the least of your problems. You got the globalists and the Muslims coming over here to apply belt to ass. Fuentes is not that's the least of your problems. The least of it. So also Mamdani says that tonight the quiet normalization. No, actually, this is what this New York Jewish organization said. Tonight, the quiet normalization of anti-Semitism just got very loud. For years, Mayor-elect Mamdani's activism was steeped in coded language about Jews, performative boycotts, exclusions, overt hostility towards Israel. Sarah Foreman, the director of the New York Solidarity Network, said, "Lady, all that is about to go up 50-fold. You are wasting time typing this message when you should be spending your time packing. All of you should be packing. You're sitting here grumbling and upset. What's going to happen when you come across a lesbian Black woman who wants a piece of your ass because they've hated you for years, but you've had law enforcement to protect you? What are you going to do? Or when someone, a newcomer to the country, been here 8 months, but they're Libyan, or they are from Iraq, or they're Afghani. There's so many people that have so many qualms with the Zionists. When you come across them, or when they decide to just start coming into your neighborhood in broad daylight and you can't defend yourself, what are you going to do? All these organizations, Jewish Appeal Federation, Jewish Community Relations, Anti-Death, the ADL, the New York and New Jersey American Jewish Committee, all these groups need to be organizing a mass exodus to safety. If they don't, they are in for a fight that they are not going to win. And I don't even think Trump's going to send a military in to save them. Or he would have by now. Trump knew he's a communist, but unfortunately, Republicans are weak. All of them. MAGA Republicans have a little bit more edge, but for the most part, they're just speed bumps for Democrats. But with the globalists coming in, they don't even need global. They don't need Democrats no more. If they bring enough of the third world in, now American voters become disenfranchised. They become the minority. And never forget this: the poors, the homeless, all these people that want free stuff, they are going to support the globalists to the fullest. And the globalists don't have to be Democrat or Republican. They're the people coming in from the third world. They're the Mandamis. They are the invaders. Now, eventually, there's going to be a head-on collision. And since they're the ones that are holding power and they're going to be the ones with the weapons and with the police behind them, I'm not sure what a regular American is going to be able to do. But I know this much. All these Jewish groups that are talking about how they're going to try to hold him accountable, this is a sign that somebody's holding at an event for Mamdani yesterday. Palestinian flags, and they have a sign that says Israel has the right to go to hell. They're not talking about Zionists, they're not talking about Jews, they're talking about this one particular country. The anger is sky high. It's not going to get any better. It's now been solidified. They are emboldened, and it will continue. There will be other people who are going to move to the United States from Africa, from the Middle East. They are going to run for office, and they are going to win because they are going to offer to give away your public money for their support. I might run for office, and like Tim Pool said, I'm going to tell people, not only will my bus be faster than the regular bus, but when you get on the bus is going to pay you $5 to ride it. You're not going to have to pay. They're going to pay you. Matter of fact, $5 per mile that you get on the bus, you get $5 a mile. We're going to put it into your account. I'm going to set up a UBI system. It just automatically gets credited to you. You think people are going to be reluctant to do digital ID, UBI, mass surveillance? You offer them a little bit of money, they'll happily take whatever. Because remember, these are people who don't want to work, they don't want to compete, they don't want to do it. I've watched these people for the past 10 years living in LA. All my neighbors in downtown are homeless people. I live 2 blocks away from Skid Row. And none of these people are dying from starvation. They're living longer because they have less stress. Sure, they don't have a nice big loft to live in, but they have meager accommodations, enough to survive, small hotel rooms, small little apartments, and it's all paid for by the government. That's the society we're walking into, a technocratic communist society. And this right here just proves that everything we said was coming was true. The conspiracy theories have been confirmed. Oh, but he's not a communist. He's talking about giving away free every fucking thing. Rent freezes, free buses. That's communism. When somebody can tell you as a property owner that you can't evict somebody, that means the state is in control of all the means of production and what happens. No more private property ownership. That is communism. Maybe you didn't know that that's how thin the line was between capitalism and communism. Property rights, property ownership, and whether you have to pay or whether the government pays for it and it's free for everyone else, but some people have to work to produce it or just won't be paid. Not paid what they're owed. Yeah, he's a communist. And like I said, my only issue with him is that he's a communist. But I mean, he is there. He is kicking the ass of the Zionists. So it's kind of a win, but it's not really. I don't know. It's a double edged sword probably. But again, I don't live there, so it doesn't affect me too much. But I just wanted you guys to know what's happening and to be aware. And if you're a part of one of these groups, you got 2 weeks to get out of New York, if that, because these mobs now, they don't have to work. They know they're going to be supported. They're going to be going to these neighborhoods and they're going to be tearing shit up. Swastikas are going to be like, you're going to see more of those than you will American flags. You know, you're going to see more of those than you see Palestinian flags. Those days are here. Hope you're ready for them. Share the video. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Leave a comment. Right Wing Rico. I'm going to share this video and I'll be back in about 20 minutes with another story. Thank you.